The U.S. Navy's $17 billion aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford CVN-78, was meant to be a shining example of technological advancement and military supremacy. Designed to replace the aging Nimitz-class carriers, it was billed as the future of naval warfare, more advanced, more efficient, and more capable than any ship before it. However, what was supposed to be a new era in naval aviation has instead become a cautionary tale of overpromising and under-delivery. Despite its groundbreaking design and hefty price tag, the Gerald R. Ford has faced a series of technical and operational problems that have turned it into what some have described as a problem ship. From faulty systems to cost overruns, the $17 billion carrier has encountered a litany of issues that have left the U.S. Navy struggling to make the most of this high-tech vessel. At first glance, the Gerald R. Ford seems like the pinnacle of naval innovation. With a displacement of 100,000 tons, it is one of the largest and most powerful warships in the world. Its design incorporates a number of cutting-edge features, including an electromagnetic aircraft launch system, EMLS, advanced arresting gear, AG, and improved radar systems. These innovations were intended to streamline operations, increase aircraft sortie rates, and reduce the crew size required to operate the ship. The Ford was supposed to be faster, more efficient, and more capable than any carrier before it, ushering in a new era of naval power projection. However, despite its promising features, the Gerald R. Ford has been plagued by a series of technical failures that have hindered its operational capabilities. Perhaps the most notable of these issues has been the performance of its EMLS, a system designed to replace the traditional steam-powered catapults used to launch aircraft. The electromagnetic system was supposed to offer several advantages, including greater efficiency, faster launch rates, and reduced maintenance. Unfortunately, the system has proven unreliable with numerous malfunctions and failures that have prevented the ship from reaching its full operational potential. These issues have forced the Ford to rely on older, less efficient steam catapults, undermining one of the ship's most important innovations. The electromagnetic catapult issues have had a ripple effect on the Ford's overall performance. The malfunctioning catapults have caused delays in aircraft launches, impacting the ship's ability to carry out its primary mission, projecting air power. In addition, the system's failures have necessitated extensive repairs and maintenance, leading to costly downtime and further delays in the ship's operational schedule. The Ford was initially slated to be operational by 2017, but due to the ongoing issues with the EMLS system, it was not fully ready for deployment until years later. Alongside the problems with the catapult system, the Gerald R. Ford has also faced significant challenges with its advanced arresting gear, AG. The AAG is responsible for safely bringing landing aircraft to a stop. But like the EMLS, it has experienced repeated failures. In 2021, the Navy was forced to pause operations with the Ford to fix issues with the AAG, highlighting how even the most advanced technologies can fall short of expectations. The AAG was supposed to improve the speed and efficiency of landings, reducing wear and tear on aircraft, but its persistent malfunctions have created serious safety concerns. As with the EMLS, the failure of the AAG system has meant that the Ford has had to rely on outdated, less efficient systems to perform basic operations, further delaying its readiness and limiting its effectiveness in the field. Beyond these technical problems, the Gerald R. Ford has also faced mounting financial difficulties. The ship's initial cost was estimated at $12.8 billion. But by the time it was finally delivered to the Navy, the price tag had soared to over $17 billion. This cost overruns are not just the result of poor planning or budgeting. They are a direct consequence of the numerous technical issues that have plagued the ship's development. Each time a system fails, it incurs additional costs for repairs and upgrades, and the delays in its operational timeline have only exacerbated the financial burden. The Ford has become an emblem of the dangers of over-reliance on unproven technology, with the ship's cost escalating while its operational effectiveness has remained in question. The operational impact of these flaws has been significant. The Gerald R. Ford was supposed to be the U.S. Navy's flagship carrier, replacing the aging USS Nimitz and leading the Navy's air power for decades to come. However, its technical failures have left the Navy in a position where it must continue relying on older carriers to carry out its missions. The Ford has been unable to deploy as frequently or as effectively as its predecessors, and its technical shortcomings have forced the Navy to spend additional resources on repairs and modifications that were not initially anticipated. The Navy has also faced difficulties with the crew's ability to operate the Ford efficiently. While the ship's design was intended to reduce the number of crew members needed to operate it, the ship's persistent technical issues have meant that the crew must spend more time troubleshooting systems, conducting repairs, and working around malfunctions. This has increased the workload for sailors and officers, detracting from the efficiency of the ship's operations. Furthermore, the Ford's advanced systems have required extensive retraining for the crew, further delaying its readiness and increasing operational costs. The Gerald R. Ford struggles are not just a matter of technical problems or financial setbacks. They are also a reflection of the broader challenges facing military procurement in the modern age. The ship was designed with the expectation that it would serve as the centerpiece of the U.S. Navy's carrier fleet for decades to come. But its persistent flaws have raised questions about the Navy's approach to designing and building advanced warships. The Ford was built with the most advanced technology available, but the decision to rely on untested systems and to rush the ship into service has proven to be a costly mistake. The Navy now faces the task of making repairs and upgrades to a ship that was supposed to be the future of naval warfare. The issues with the Gerald R. Ford have also sparked a broader debate about the future of aircraft carriers in general. While supercarriers like the Ford have been the cornerstone of U.S. naval power for decades, some military analysts have begun to question whether these massive, costly ships are still relevant in the modern age. The rise of advanced anti-ship missile technology, as well as the growing prominence of smaller, more versatile platforms like unmanned aerial vehicles, AAVs, and amphibious assault ships, has led some to argue that the era of the supercarrier may be coming to an end. The Ford's technical issues, combined with its enormous cost, have only fueled these concerns. The failure of the Gerald R. Ford to meet its promises has also had political ramifications. Lawmakers who championed the project and pushed for the ship's rapid development have been forced to defend their decisions, even as the ship continues to encounter problems. The Ford's cost overruns and delays have led to criticism from both political opponents and military analysts, raising concerns about the future of U.S. defense spending and the effectiveness of military procurement. As the Navy looks toward future carrier programs, the Ford struggles will undoubtedly serve as a cautionary tale, prompting a re-evaluation of how new warships are designed, tested, and built. Despite these challenges, the USS Gerald R. Ford is not without hope. The Navy has committed significant resources to fixing the ship's issues, and many of the problems with the EMALS and AAG systems are being addressed through ongoing upgrades and testing. While the ship's future remains uncertain, there is still the potential for the Ford to fulfill its original mission and become the centerpiece of the U.S. Navy's carrier fleet. However, that success will depend on whether the Navy can overcome the challenges that have plagued the ship's development, and whether it can turn the Ford into the reliable, cutting-edge vessel it was always meant to be. In conclusion, the $17 billion USS Gerald R. Ford has become a symbol of both ambition and failure. Despite its groundbreaking design and technological advancements, the ship has been plagued by technical flaws, cost overruns, and operational setbacks. While it represents the future of U.S. naval aviation, its issues have raised important questions about military procurement, technological innovation, and the long-term viability of supercarriers. Whether the Ford can overcome these challenges and fulfill its promise remains to be seen, but its struggles will undoubtedly shape the future of U.S. Navy shipbuilding for years to come.